here in person. He has founded a Marxist-based drug-using religion. Karl Marx, Che Guevara, and hallucinogenic drugs are the basis of his religion. It's called Drugs and Revolution. You've had an opportunity to listen to him. He says he would establish a utopian government for our society. He believes in revolution, peacefully, as he puts it, overthrowing the present government of the United States. And he wants to realize the value of Marxism and the need for revolution here in the United States. He wants that. I have asked him if he isn't just rehashing what Timothy Leary attempted to do some time ago and then backed off from it. Okay, what we're going to do now is turn to Sergeant Eugene Rudolph of our Sheriff's Narcotics Division here in Los Angeles. And he's been kind enough to come here. He did not understand what the program was to be, but he has been an interested bystander and listener. And what are your reactions to what you've heard from Norm Lubow and his approach to religion?
Well, I've heard the same type of stories from the 60s when I was working the streets then, of people who were using the use of drugs as a sacrament in some form of religion, looking for the true God, if you may, or looking for wisdom through the use of drugs. And at that time, my only contact with people who would be on the street was in illegal sales or under the influence where they were in such a condition they were unable to care for themselves. But looking over the years, we do study of research in the use of marijuana. The idea that the marijuana is going to enhance the level of learning, I think, can be disputed medically, because the body is not geared, if you may use it that way, is not suitable for that particular drug, because marijuana, once it gets into the system and is there, it does not readily disappear, as such as other type of chemicals that may go into the body. It will dissipate in a few matter of hours. But marijuana does not do this. So marijuana and PCP happen to be fat-soluble type drugs and going into the system. As far as being able to see things clearly or to gather knowledge, I would say that a person whose mind has been has something into the mind to cause it to alter the changing, because it doesn't seem possible to work in that way. Because if you were loaded under the influence, then what you're seeing is not a realism. All you're seeing then is a hallucination of some kind, what is not true. In looking at Mr. Lubow's approach in use of these certain drugs to enhance his religion, his mind, I would see that it's an escape mechanism into that's unreal, what you're seeing. Because because of God, if you're going to find God, you must find within yourself, within your own makeup, and not bringing in some outside substance to alter that. Because we take medication, we take things into our system to help us grow. And I don't feel a drug that causes the mind to not alter, or it alters the mind to the point that you're unable to think or reason out a process. Because, again, we've proven this again in research, that people under the influence of drugs doing those type of operations, such as working with computers or those things, cannot do it on an ongoing and continuous basis. Now, if you want to talk about somebody laying out in a field somewhere and daydreaming, yes, he probably could do it under the influence of this particular drug. And you made the comment that marijuana, hashish, the magic mushrooms are part of the tree of knowledge. I hope I didn't misunderstand you. If that's true, then I could say that heroin is the third generation from opium poppy, which is something that grows wild throughout the certain regions of the world. We can take cocaine. Now, cocaine comes from the coca leaf that grows in certain parts of the world, and then is reduced to the finer product. Using from your tree of knowledge, we could take that and go back each step in those drugs. The only drug that would be different would be PCP, which is strictly a chemical upon a chemical. There's no other substance that comes. It's strictly all chemical. So that drug would be different. But heroin, cocaine, and the marijuana, the hash, the people who are using marijuana today are trying to increase their potency of the drug. Probably back in those times when you're talking about when they were using marijuana, what type of marijuana were they using? Were they using the stuff that was what we call the homegrown variety of 1% THC content, or is it the stuff that we grow in California called sensimilla that runs anywhere from maybe 5 to 12% THC? It's getting stronger. Hashish, you mentioned hashish. That's nothing more than refined or concentrated marijuana. You're getting, but people take drugs to alter their mind. They don't like what they see, basically. They want to feel good. And when you're in this state, as far as things coming into your system and retaining it, at least in the studies that I've read and researched, does not bear out what you're saying.
All right, let me interrupt right there because I want to certainly go to all of these telephone calls. You've heard now from Norm LeBeau. You've heard from Sergeant Eugene Rudolph, Sheriff's Narcotics Division. And now we go to our audience again. Your turn to talk back. Come in.
Yes, I'd like to ask Mr. LeBeau some questions. I'm so happy to have this opportunity to do so. Do you work?
I work for Revolution. So
do you earn a salary?
We get money through fundraisings, things like that, through donations, people who believe in what we do.
In this utopian society that you envision, will people have a need for goods and services?
Well, the goods will all be shared, and so you won't have the power to tell somebody else what to do. Everybody will have equal power.
Will you have a need for refrigerators, for automobiles, for furniture, for housing? Would you have a need for those things?
Well, the basic necessities of life you'll have a need for: food, clothing, shelter, and medical care. But for automobiles and things, I don't believe so.
Who provides the basic necessities of life?
God provides. We just have to refine the products.
Who makes the machinery?
Well, we don't need all this fancy machinery if you look at it. We can use the technology. But in fact, technology now is not used for godly purposes. Technology is used for destruction. And the ultimate technology, the nuclear bomb, is used to destroy the world.
I'm talking about a nuclear bomb. I'm talking about the daily necessities of life.
Well, it's all fit in. Now, we don't believe that technology is bad. We just believe technology has been used for bad purposes.
Somebody has to provide it, don't they?
Well, we already have the knowledge of how to make the technology. We don't have to get any more.
Would you need a factory, for instance, to manufacture, if not an electric refrigerator, since you want to go backwards?
No, we want to go forwards, but factories, yes, we will need, but factories which run on natural fuel products, and so they don't pollute.
Who provides these factories?
Well, we'll build them. We'll build new factories.
Where are you going to get the money? Where do you purchase this?
No.
What I'm trying to say is...
Well, with the revolution, everybody will be into the same thing, and so we'll all be producing these things. We won't be on any need for money.
Where does it get? How do you purchase this? Where do you get it from? The air? Who manufactures the steel?
The workers manufacture. That's what we're saying. The workers should own everything. The workers are the ones who make the wealth.
What I'm trying to get to you is I am so damn sick and tired of hearing about big business and the rich. I'm asking you, could you provide today a factory with your revolution to put men to work? Where would you get the engineers, the machinery, the steel, the technology, all of the stuff that's needed? Where would you get these things to provide the basic necessities of life?
We'd get them from they're already here, but we'd use them for different purposes. The technology is already here. The engineers are here, but we'd be using people to use them for a different way of life.
Well, wait a minute. Let me get into this. Are you saying, then, Norm LeBeau, that in the revolution you would take over the capital and the capitalist system to generate the very thing you're posing and are against?
Well, we generate a different way of life.
She wants to know where this original capital originates. Where does it come from? You see, the Soviet Union...
We'll take it from the rich, as we said.
All right. How many 5-year plans have they had in the Soviet Union that have absolutely collapsed, and they're now turning more and more, if you please, to our way?
Okay.